a tier lists are real content, and that's why we're here at the Age of Empires 4 Civilization tier list. Like 2 days in, nobody's played that many games. Nobody has any idea what they're doing. But are you playing the good Civ? I don't know. Let's find out. I will say, though I have won the majority of my games, I don't feel like much of an authority. There's still a lot that has to be figured out. There's some details that we're not sure if they're bugs or features. But as it stands today, this day 2.5 of Age of Empires 4, we're just going to throw water maps out, like the pure water maps. They are fun. We're just going to ignore them. Because that is, that's a whole nother deal. Anyways, the Chinese, whole lot of bonuses, a whole lot of text on the screen saying what dynasty you're in, a whole lot of every direction with great tech, and almost no economic bonuses. They have probably the best late game army, but just getting there is rare to see. We've got the Abbasid dynasty. I'm getting closer. This one is definitely my least confident right now. Just playing it and understanding it. There's a lot of stuff, like it's kind of like a counter Cav Civ, so it's pretty good against what I think will end up in the top tier. But a lot of the stuff hasn't really been explored, and I haven't really seen it. It doesn't seem to get going in time to compete with a lot of the civs with more direct eco bonuses. I'm putting it at a C right now. English, aka Longbow Ram. So there's a feature right now in the game where you can't target fire your town center. This means it will attack the closest target with feudal siege engineering. This means rams can hit your town center and longbows can stand behind them, killing everyone trying to kill the rams. And there's almost nothing you can do about it without an overwhelming amount of units. So I do think English is A tier, but mostly because they have the most effective, like, longbows are probably the most effective unit at abusing that. They, like, the late game is, I've never played English in the late game. I've never played a game so far. Probably a dozen plus games against English. I've never played a game that went anywhere close to, like, the late game without there being some feudal age thing. And it seems pretty strong at that. So, French are S tier. Okay. Just, like, let's talk about the French. All right? I'm sure they'll appreciate that. I want to talk about how every single bonus the French have is just good and requires no effort. They are the 1-star difficulty. Faster villager production. Eco-tech is cheaper. Resource drop-off points are cheaper. Trade posts are revealed. Traders can return any resource, not just gold, so if you really need something else and there's a bad exchange rate. Melee damage is free. Trade ships, whatever. Units are cheaper.
Is that all?
Thank you! You get bonus damage upgrades, etc. It's the simplest. Like, they got really good crossbow. It's amazing. They're very good. They are S tier. Maybe Abbasids. Maybe that'll end up being the counter, but we will see. Holy Roman Empire. Honestly, it kind of feels like Chinese to me, where there's a lot of cool things, but they don't really have any significant early game eco bonuses. They have prelates, which are their unique unit, that technically gives an eco bonus, but just like Chinese, what it actually does is screw up your selection whenever you're trying to run your villagers away. Because it's a unit that's walking around looking like a villager and gets stuck in the same selection group. So the Prelate is another expensive pincushion for me. And that puts him in the B tier. Nope. There you go. I will say, I think they could. I don't know. I feel like they're a solid B tier. They're definitely not top tier. But we'll see. We'll see as people. All of this is we'll see, obviously. So Mongols. I think Mongols. At risk of reiterating my many points, but if a lot of the bugs with like how units are selected and how buildings act, I literally mean because the Mongols run around with their buildings. Like, if there was another round of polish on the game, I think Mongols would be S tier. But as it stands, there's a lot of little things that make it hard to keep up with some of the civs as Mongols, unless you get off to a strong start, which is what they're all about. But it is a lot to handle, and it can sometimes get away from you more than the other civs. And then the Ruse. At first, I thought they were pretty good, and now I think they're even better. Strong S tier. They have the best counter siege in the long-range Springolds. They can go toe-to-toe with French, and, well, they're usually the ones that come out on top in my experience. They have a pretty cool bounty hunter mechanic that gives you something to do other than stare at your villagers chopping up a sheep in the early game. All around, both aesthetically and throughout the game, with strong eco bonuses and options. Ruse S tier. And Delhi, I want to put it at D, but I think people are kind of getting the hang of it. I've seen some strategies. It's essentially the Delhi Sultanate. It takes a long time to get going because you got to build up the scholars, you got to get a lot of gold, you got to get a lot of tech. They have elephants, which are incredible and almost impossible to take down. But essentially, the Civ right now seems to revolve around the same idea as Protoss in StarCraft 2. It's like, how do I beat someone with 10 carriers? It's like, well, you don't let them get 10 carriers, except the only Delhi strat is getting the 10 carriers. In this case, elephants. They have stronger towers and all that. They're designed to turtle the carriers, essentially. But usually it takes so long for them to show up, there's counters to them. Like, Ruse have Springolds and crossbows, which do plenty of damage and punch right through the armor. The French just outgrow them. Honestly, English and Mongols kind of struggle because they don't have as good of a way of breaking static defense. It has rough met. Like, I think both of these are gonna take some time to get figured out. Wow, that ends up looking pretty. I did not plan on having. I knew what the top two would be. I didn't know what the rest would land on when we started this. But I'm not putting any in D tier because I just don't feel confident saying they're bad. Nobody knows how to play them. I don't know if I'll suffer through figuring them out, but yeah, that's my experience so far as a middling top player hovering around the top 200. Yes, in the first 2 days, no, not top 10, not top 20, not top 50, but top 200 maybe. So, yeah, take your pick. And you know what? I'll go even further. Bonus! Like and subscribe for more bonus tips. So if you truly want to just... I do recommend Ruse. Quick recommendation. Build an extra scout. That's about it. Ruse and French are both relatively simple, but Ruse, you got to read the fine print a little. And I think Holy Roman Empire is not a bad civ to start with. I think it doesn't scale as well as the other civs at the higher level, but I think Holy Roman Empire is a perfectly good starter civ as well. Probably better than English for most people. So you got your top two, and then you got Roman Empire. The rest are weak in places you might not expect. So just know that going in. That's my impression. So, hope you enjoyed. Maybe we'll slap this on YouTube and see how many likes we can drag in. Just like Ruse and their deer. So, yeah, we'll see what it is tomorrow. Thanks for watching.